Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tokyo Skytree. Be awestruck by the panoramic view. There are so many other fun things to do after you've enjoyed the view. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go, let's enjoy. This is Tokyo Skytree.
We do our jobs with sincerity and integrity to make a better living environment for the people and our society. Today's work, tomorrow's heritage. Shimizu Corporation.
Machines can do much more to unleash human potential. Pure possibility. Omron.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Matsuko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
And these are our topics for today.
In Dream Weavers, a company weaving world-class carpets.
From World Business Satellite, the challenges of caring for a graying population.
Also from World Business Satellite, traditional Japanese technologies and techniques get a new life in the medical field.
And from Takumi, a robot to inspect aging sewage pipes. So let's get started. First up is Dream Weavers, in which we introduce the innovations of Japan's small and mid-sized companies.
Yes, now first if you can take a look over here, it's a picture of a carpet maker called Oriental Carpet that's based in a small town of about 15,000 people in Yamagata Prefecture in northern Japan.
So what's special about this company?
Well, their products actually are highly regarded not just in Japan but also around the world, and can be found in the Imperial Palace or state guest houses and also government buildings in Japan. And it's not just Japan, it's also found in places like the Vatican Palace and palaces in Saudi Arabia.
So it's kind of surprising that carpets from such a small town in Yamagata are being shipped around the world. So what's behind their international success?
Yes, well, one reason might be that their carpets aren't machine-made, but they're hand-woven. And usually high-end products are typically hand-woven or hand-knotted, and they use several hundred threads with subtle differences in color and to be woven one by one in detailed patterns.
Wow, so I'm sure that involves lots of skill and know-how.
Yes, exactly. And they say that using their hand-weaving technique, they can only weave about 7 centimeters of carpet a day. So it means the carpet the size of a doormat would take about a month, and a 6-square-meter carpet about 3 months. And they say there are only 1 of 2 companies in Japan that are able to manufacture such large carpets.
So they spend a lot of time and effort on their products. So does that mean they have a big team of seasoned craftsmen?
Well, actually their high-end products are made by a team of 30 weavers, and they're mainly women and housemakers living in the town.
Oh, so I'm guessing women weavers can provide a different perspective from men in terms of how the carpets look and feel.
That certainly seems to be the case, and also the company founder has another reason why he's been hiring so many women. So take a look.
The Kabukiza Theater in Ginza, Tokyo. As always, it's thronging with people. The main actor on this day is not the theater itself, but the carpet. The vivid vermilion color overlaid with the traditional phoenix pattern. This detailed design helps project a refined atmosphere from the feet up. The technicians behind this carpet are homemakers.
People say we're amazing, so I guess we must be amazing. We have pride in our work.
These women work at Oriental Carpet Mills, a company based in Yamanobemachi, Yamagata Prefecture. It was established in 1935. Exquisite carpets woven from fine woolen yarns. The expression of color gradations in particular is an area in which they are considered among the top technicians in the country. These products are no different from works of art. They are used by major facilities in Japan and around the world. Recognition of the sophisticated techniques applied. We visited the home of a local resident. Here too is a carpet from Oriental Carpet Mills. The company's products are used by local residents as well as have become a sort of status symbol. They are certainly impressive.
For us, the company is our pride and joy.
Yamanobemachi, Yamagata Prefecture. The creator visiting the town.
The color scheme is great.
Photographer Shingo Miyaji. From his home in Hayama, Kanagawa Prefecture, he has been taking pictures of scenery and people connected to the sea for more than 10 years. Before heading out on his tour, we showed him an actual carpet made by the company. What catches his eye first is
This is a carpet?
one called umi, meaning sea in Japanese.
Yo, it's really hard to believe.
The sea looks almost like a photograph. To find out how this carpet was created, he visits the company. This is the president of Oriental Carpet Mills, Hiroaki Watanabe. He's the 5th generation of this family-run business.
We hope you can get a good look around our company today.
With the president's permission, he starts walking through the facility. As Mr. Miyaji makes his way around, he spots a woman in the midst of an experiment. This is a process called saddening, in which dyes are blended. Her work is to create the exact color requested by the customer. To produce a carpet that expresses the proper texture and depth, she uses this machine to repeatedly test the dyes. What kind of lighting will the carpet be under? This is an important question to think about in the saddening process.
So the impression changes depending on the light you see it in.
That's the big aspect. Different types of lights are used in every home.
She repeats the process again and again until she's satisfied with the color. To date, the company has accumulated recipes for more than 20,000 colors. Yoneko Tano has worked in this field for 40 years. A commanding figure, Mr. Miyaji immediately takes a picture.
When I'm asked what color I like, I say navy blue. But doing this work, I've discovered I actually like other colors too. You end up liking any color.
Once the color is decided, the next step is the actual dyeing. The white woolen yarns are slowly dyed using a machine. This is the only place in Japan to handle both dyeing and weaving. The reason they can create such vivid colors is because of the recipes they have for 20,000 colors. That accumulation of know-how has become a strength for the company.
What is this? Gradation. This gradation is what differentiates our products.
A stunning gradation of color. Anyone would be a bit hesitant to step on something like this. It's hard to believe it's a carpet.
You're right. Occasionally, there are different colors mixed in.
The carefully dyed threads are woven by hand. This is the meticulous work that goes into top-quality carpets. She is the most seasoned hand weaver, Ryuko Moriya, a veteran who has been here for 58 years. In hand weaving, threads are chosen as instructed from yarns of various colors, tied to warp threads and cut. The woolen yarns are tied to the two cotton threads in front and back in a figure 8. Keeping the yarns in place is this thread made of cotton. Then, a heddle thread is woven through to organize the warp threads. Finally, the threads are beaten with the comb-shaped metal plate. The force of the beating and the tension of the weft and heddle threads determine how beautiful the shape of the pattern will be. This is a master technique of Ms. Moriya. Ms. Moriya joined the company when she was just 15 years old. To help her struggling family, she started working immediately after graduating junior high school.
I didn't really like the work, but decided to give it my best. I thought if I did the work faster than everyone, then I would be able to relax more. So I worked hard, really hard. And when the work really became easy and my kids were all grown up, I found that somewhere along the way I had actually started to like my work.
She is also in charge of carving, which gives the products depth and dimensionality.
You'll understand if you look here. The base color and the leaf color are similar. It's hard to tell unless you wear glasses.
Take a look. It's as if she's creating a work of art. A carpet born of a masterful technique honed over 58 years. We may have underestimated her abilities. There are many other artisans at Oriental Carpet Mills. The carpet weavers are all women. The company has adopted various measures to ensure that these women stay on. The exterior is painted pink, a color preferred by the women, and the many big windows are so that they can work in a bright and refreshing atmosphere. What's more, the heavy tools are designed to minimize physical strain. There's a reason why such innovative ideas are part of the company culture. When Oriental Carpet Mills was founded, northeastern Japan was in the midst of a severe famine. People were starving and poverty was so rife that families sold off their daughters.
This region was impoverished, so the founder, Junosuke Watanabe, wanted to build a place where women could work. It was a dream that he always had.
There are documents from the time showing just how determined the founder was in pursuing this dream.
This is a notebook in which the founder wrote down his thoughts about starting a carpet business.
In it, he lists what are called employee benefits and welfare today, such as consistently providing clean and white aprons as uniforms, and making sure to have a company picnic in the mountains every spring and autumn. The origins of the company culture of creating an atmosphere in which employees can work comfortably are here.
Business success comes not from things, but from people. For Oriental Carpet, this is a notebook of treasures.
Next time.
Wonderful!
Great! Excellent!
Smiles ahead. Save the group.
Man, look at all these cars.
Hey, have you heard, by the way, the Japanese company Kobelco is working to make the world's cars lighter.
So what does that mean?
Kobelco is using aluminum and steel technologies to make car parts and bodies lighter around the world.
Ah, Japanese technology. The country of karate. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Why do we always do that?
I don't know.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
The sport truck. New Mitsubishi Triton.
Drive at Earth, Mitsubishi Motors.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we have a report from World Business Satellite. So, Tsu-san, what's the topic?
Yes, this time we'll be looking at the nursing care industry. First, I want to take a look at this graph over here. It shows the percentage of people in Japan who are 65 years old and above.
Well, it's obvious that Japan is continuing to grow.
Yes, and in particular from 2025, the number of people 75 years old and above is expected to grow significantly.
So I've heard that there's a bigger need for nursing care among people who are 75 years old and above.
Yes, that seems to be the case. But in 2025, it's forecast that at 430,000 people nationwide who need nursing care won't have access to it.
430,000 people. Why is that?
Well, according to calculations by the Health Ministry, in 2025, Japan will need about 2.5 million nursing care workers, but the forecast is that there'll only be about 2.1 million workers. But let me ask you, what's your impression of nursing care work?
Well, from the stories I hear, it's often physically and mentally demanding work.
Yes, and that seems to be a common perception, which unfortunately is a factor in the chronic shortage of workers in the industry. And so the industry has been making efforts to attract more workers to the industry. And we take a look at some of the latest initiatives.
A private senior citizens' home that opened this June. The residents are doing stretching exercises. At first glance, it appears to be a typical elderly care facility. But there's actually a slight difference. That difference is a door at the back. Through it, more doors. What is this place?
This floor is the student condominium.
Adjacent to this senior citizen's home is a condominium for students.
It's never been done before, so we decided to merge the home with a student condo.
The home is operated by Oryx Living, and the student condo by the National Federation of University Cooperative Associations. The monthly rent is about 60,000 yen, slightly higher than the average of 40,000 to 50,000 yen in this area. Even so, all 59 rooms are occupied. She's one of the residents at this condo, a first-year student at Osaka Prefecture University. She's just gotten back, but before going to her room, she stops by the senior citizen's home next door.
Hello.
She's taking part in a get-together organized by Oryx Living once a month for the elderly residents and students.
I just promised him that we'd hang out next time.
Just us.
Do some mahjong.
Mahjong is all she talks about.
I just started playing and enjoy it.
Mahjong is a path of evil.
These get-togethers are restricted to the residents of the student condominium, but others are also permitted to come if invited. Oryx Living holds these events with a certain objective in mind.
There are people who want to get into social work, including some of the residents at the student condo. Through these exchanges, we're also hoping to attract potential job candidates.
The nursing care industry is said to be facing a shortage of workers. Through this facility, they hope to give students first-hand experience of nursing care and draw new workers into the field.
By having contact with elderly people in this way, we'll be able to acquire nursing care skills and learn how to look after residents. So I think this is helpful.
This student condo is also designed with an eye toward a further graying of the population. This is the community lounge. Underneath are pipes that can be used to set up communal baths. There are other features, such as barrier-free entranceways that were installed with the idea of eventually turning the condo into a senior citizen's home. Oryx Living is planning to build more facilities like this in the future.
The students have needs, and the elderly also have needs. The question is how to involve the entire community so that we can best match those needs.
Another area where new initiatives are underway is food. This is Saint Care, a major nursing care provider that operates 143 facilities nationwide. In charge of the company's food business is Masahito Suzuki. He has organized a meeting on this day, gathered our nutritionists from the various facilities.
I want to exchange opinions about food during this meeting.
Mr. Suzuki has invited a certain person as a food consultant. Takusuke Tada, a French cuisine chef. Mr. Tada has worked as a food advisor at several hospitals. Until now, Saint Care didn't have common recipes, meaning food tasted different depending on the person doing the cooking. What's more, since meals had to be prepared for large numbers of residents at once, they say they had to keep the seasoning bland. At the meeting, Mr. Tada is peppered with questions.
With hamburgers, we've been told we use too little meat and that the texture is too soft.
Warm up the meat with your hands first and add onions after it's sticky. If you add onions before it becomes sticky, moisture will gush out from the onions when you fry it. And that's why it'll feel as if there's not enough meat.
Mr. Tada, who has worked the kitchens of hotel restaurants, also offers another piece of advice.
Dishes for 20 people or more are cooked by machines, so you need to be able to use them too.
To improve the quality of the food, the company is planning to bring in high-end cooking equipment used at hotels.
We were focused, but our focus was too narrow. By bringing aboard Mr. Tada, we can get an objective view of our level, and that will become a strength.
On this day, Mr. Suzuki visits a certain place, a manufacturer of kitchen equipment.
This is a gas type, and this is an electric type.
He's looking at medium-sized ovens that are also used by high-end hotels. They cost about 1.5 million yen each. While expensive, they'll help the company improve food quality.
We want to offer food that's tasty for a reason. We can't do that without knowing about techniques. So now, we're learning from our teachers about cooking methods and how to bring out the taste of ingredients.
This is a senior citizens' home run by Saint Care. Mr. Suzuki is here to check on the food. Has instruction by a professional chef had any effect?
By sprinkling salt and sugar together, you can remove the smell.
Salt and sugar sprinkled together gets rid of the fishy smell and makes the meat tender. Oven steamed flounder. It's cooked through evenly and beautifully. What will the residents think of a dish made using professional techniques?
Thank you for waiting. Let's eat.
The main dish on this day is boiled flounder. The meat has been cooked to a perfect texture. The residents are eating enthusiastically. Then,
Thank you so much. It's really tasty. They finished everything.
I'm not just being nice. It was delicious.
in a field where demands are constantly changing, care providers are taking on new challenges.
Well, I thought it was a great idea to put a nursing care facility and student housing next to each other. Well, the elderly residents looked like they were having fun talking with a young student.
They did, didn't they? And because of the shortage of workers, some facilities have had to resort to using robots as conversation partners for the residents.
Well, the growth in the number of elderly people also means more business opportunities. So I really hope we'll see more innovative ideas like these that address the needs of the elderly.
ORIX is driving business in Asia through leases, investments, real estate development, energy businesses, and more. Making business more dynamic and fast-paced than ever. ORIX.
Nikko, one of Japan's leading tourist destinations. Here, you will be charmed by nature's bounty and will enjoy the beautiful scenery. You will also experience Japanese history at World Heritage temples and shrines. Nikko and Kinugawa, as well as the historic hot springs, are charming. Asakusa is easily accessible from the airport. It takes 2 hours from Asakusa to reach Nikko and Kinugawa via the Spacia Limited Express. Let's go to Nikko!
Potenza.
And Notice, what's next?
Yes, next we'll be looking at the medical equipment industry. Now, we have a graph over here. It shows the global medical equipment market, and it's forecast to reach $430 billion by 2017.
So what's seen as driving this growth?
Well, a big driver is emerging economies, where rapid development is pushing up demand for medical equipment.
Well, those are markets that certainly can't be overlooked by Japanese manufacturers.
Exactly, and equipment and devices for diagnosis, treatment, rehabilitation and nursing are said to be wide-ranging, but sold in small lots, which is a specialty of nimble and small Japanese firms.
So I know that many small firms are subcontractors and have been suffering as big companies shift production overseas. So moving into the medical equipment space may open up a new path for them.
Exactly, and the hope is that they'll be able to apply their expertise in manufacturing and realize what's been referred to as medical engineering collaboration. So take a look.
The ancient capital of Kyoto. Turning into a narrow road, a certain sound can be heard. It's the sound of a weaving machine. Being weaved using a machine called a jacquard loom is Nishijin brocade, a traditional textile of Kyoto. By weaving the weft threads dyed in various colors into white warp threads, it's possible to create beautiful three-dimensional designs not possible with piece dyeing. This entire strip was once known as the town of weaving craftsmen. However, shipments of Nishijin brocade peaked at 280 billion yen in 1990 and have fallen sharply to about an eighth of that figure. Kikuo Hirano has devoted himself to this craft for 60 years. He's worried about the lack of successors to carry on the tradition.
There aren't any successors. Even if someone wanted to become a successor, you can't make a living. But we can't let such a wonderful craft go extinct.
A desire to keep the Nishijin weaving technique from disappearing. Mr. Hirano recently began testing the waters in a new field. Gathered are 3 craftsmen of the traditional Nishijin textiles. And Professor Tomokazu Kuroda of Kyoto University, who is leading development. The thread, which will be the main material, is being provided by Kazuo Ueshima of Teijin Group. What they're working on now is a silver-colored fabric. This is actually an electrocardiograph cloth used to measure a person's heart rate. It's simply wrapped around the chest and detects the electric currents generated with every heartbeat, which is indicated on the monitor. ECGs are typically conducted using electrodes attached to the body with suction cups. This was developed as an easier-to-use alternative. The electrodes of the ECG textile are the dark silver-colored areas on the inside. They are woven using conductive threads developed by Teijin.
This weaving can only be done using Nishijin techniques.
Nishijin brocade is woven by intertwining various types of weft and warp threads. For that reason, it's possible to use different threads for the electrode and non-electrode areas.
The electrodes are woven into the gray areas. This part isn't conductive. Only this part is.
As each electrode can be woven by a single thread, they say conduction is stable. This type of connection between traditional Japanese manufacturing and the medical field is being referred to as a medical engineering partnership and generating strong interest now. On this day, a meeting is being held to discuss the development of a new prototype.
We're adjusting the positions of the electrodes now so that you'll only need one ECG textile for both men and women. We're thinking about remaking the Jacquard card again.
As the current prototype is only for men, they want to improve the positioning of the electrodes to make a unisex textile. They want to put it on the market within this year.
If we can commercialize and mass produce it, it will become the core of our business and can help many people do what they need to do.
Some traditional techniques are already being applied in the medical field. These are scissors for brain surgery. These are scissors made from 4 different kinds of materials, a world's first. To make them sharp and light, a special type of steel and titanium were used. Titanium is said to have been especially difficult to process. Until now, scissors were typically made of stainless steel, weighing about 20 grams. But as these scissors use titanium, they're much lighter. What techniques are employed to make these scissors? We headed to Sabae, Fukui Prefecture. In 1905, the town began manufacturing eyeglass frames and over the years became known as the Eyeglass Town. But with the influx of lower-priced frames from China, more than 300 of the 900 or so companies at the peak have been forced to close. Those one-of-a-kind scissors are manufactured by eyeglass frame maker Charman. Kaoru Horikawa is the company chairman. He showed us their main product. The material of the frame is titanium. Charman was actually the first company in Japan to make titanium eyeglass frames.
This is all made using laser welding techniques.
To weld titanium, the metal must be heated to 900 degrees Celsius with gas. But that means the heat will spread to other parts and damage the shape-retaining property that they built in. So the company spent 5 years developing a laser welding technology. By using this machine to direct the laser at a point less than a millimeter in size, they can prevent the heat from spreading and weakening the properties of the material. Taking advantage of this technology, they set up a medical business department 4 years ago. They manufacture 250 types of medical tools, such as surgical scissors. While sales are still negligible, they are aiming to grow annual revenue to more than 10 billion yen within 10 years. And this summer, the company started marketing their products in the US, Germany, and other overseas markets. They are starting to expand globally.
With eyeglasses, trends change in 1 or 2 years. But in the medical field, one product you develop will continue for 20 or 30 years.
So Charman is working to bring other local firms on board. They visit a small company with strong metal pressing capabilities in making products such as eyeglass frames.
Do you have extra capacity? We generally operate 24 hours a day. So we may be able to work on this at night.
A community-wide foray into the new field of medicine. Their market is expanding into the world.
By strengthening horizontal relationships between technologically capable companies, there's more than a strong possibility that a new industry will be born in the eyeglass town of Sabae.
Traditional Japanese techniques made obsolete by the changing times may be regaining their luster in the medical field.
Well, it was really interesting to see how traditional Japanese technologies and techniques are attracting attention again in the field of medicine.
True, and small companies that had no connection to the medical industry are finding that their advanced processing technologies and sophisticated quality control capabilities can add value and help them compete internationally.
And after the break, we have a new episode of Takumi.
Mitsui and Company.
Let's paint a vision, your imagination. It started moving round the world. Dream car. Let's paint a vision, your imagination. It started moving round the world. From a sketch on a piece of paper, come together now. Dream car.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we bring you a segment called Takumi from Science View, a program produced by NHK.
Takumi literally means artisan in Japanese, and it's a word often used to describe a craftsman with exceptional skills.
So, who's our Takumi today?
Yes, today we meet a developer of a robot that inspects sewage pipes. And many of the sewage pipes in Japan are more than 40 years old, but work to replace them has taken time.
Why is that?
Well, before any work is started, the pipes need to be inspected, and until now that required technical specialists and significant costs. But our Takumi this time has developed a low-cost inspection robot that almost anyone can operate. So take a look.
Traveling to space, this has always been my childhood dreams. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm in Kitakyushu City, Fukuoka Prefecture, home to Japan's first space-themed amusement park. But today, I'm not here to talk about space. I'll introduce you to a Takumi innovator who created a robot that works deep underground.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Ishikawa.
Kiyomitsu Ishikawa is the Takumi innovator who created the robot. The Takumi's company is an iron foundry that specializes in making giant cogwheels for iron mills and shipyards. But today we are here to see this small robot. It's a robot that works underground. This is really cool. It kind of looks like a Mars rover.
Yes, it has a unique build.
The robot weighs 8 kilograms. It has 6 rubber wheels. And it's controlled by a remote control. This robot is used to inspect the sewage pipes that run underground. This is an image that the robot filmed in a sewage pipe. It clearly shows where the pipe is out of position. It locates the areas that need to be repaired or replaced. What is this?
It's a mock sewage pipe. We use it to hold test runs with the robot.
He showed us how the robot moves. The robot makes its way over the bumps and easily rolls through the round pipe. So it travels through the pipes. It's a bit like how a mole digs through the ground. The Takumi controls the robot with ease.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
Well, having said that, can I operate it?
Yes, of course. It's very easy.
Okay, here goes then. Oh, it went in so easily. This is great. Anyone can operate it by simply pressing the advanced button. This is one of the robot's greatest features. There have been other inspection robots, but they had complicated controls, and only trained inspection engineers could operate them. This made the inspection fees quite high. Because the Takumi's robot can be controlled from above ground by just one person, it substantially reduces the costs. What innovative features does this revolutionary robot have?
What I focused on the most during the development stage was the mechanism that would keep it running upright.
The secret to keeping it upright was in the wheels. The wheels of conventional robots were vertical and lined parallel to each other. So, if they lost their balance, then they were unable to stabilize and toppled over. On the other hand, the wheels of the Takumi's robot are tilted in an inverted V shape. The robot is placed sideways in the pipe and put into action. After it goes back and forth a few times, the robot gradually returns to an upright position. On top of that, even when there's a curve or a bump, the robot doesn't tilt and keeps a steady footing. This is how it moves steadily through the pipes and inspects it. The idea for the robot came from an experience that Takumi had when he was younger. As an elementary school student, he used to play in big earthenware pipes. This provided him with a hint.
To keep my balance, I used to spread out my legs when walking through. I was able to keep my balance and walk faster that way.
And that experience helped you develop this robot?
Yes, very much.
It is now also used to inspect the underground piping of railroads and highways. The robot has begun receiving attention from other countries as well. It is being used to inspect oil pipelines in the Middle East. We asked the Takumi why he thinks the robot is gaining popularity.
There's an old saying, simple is best. The simpler the mechanism, the less likely it is to malfunction, and the easier it is to use. I think the most important thing is to have the skills needed to make anything that a client requests.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.